Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Frances Lorenz, and it's my delight to welcome you this morning. And those of you who are watching at home, you've just heard Adoro Te Devote by St. Thomas Aquinas. You know, all those saints used to write sheet music. So that's something I've never heard. It's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much. Bienvenido, Yangco, our performer. So welcome, and I want to introduce who's performing today. Terry O'Hara on the piano. Stephan Plummer is our guest performer. On platform with me is Matthew Brack. Reverend Matthew Brack is going to be doing our meditation and possibly our opening prayer because Mona Williams is running a little late this morning. So anyway, we'll start our service with a meditation. With an opening prayer followed by the meditation, and then an opening song from Stephan called Come Together.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to open this service with a prayer this morning, so I invite you to just place your feet flat on the earth. And if you choose, close your eyes. And let's just tune into the quiet for a few minutes. And I invite you to breathe with me. Breathing in life. Breathing in the source of all. And as we let go of our breath, we let go of anything that could possibly be in the way of a beautiful experience here today. Just breathing into the moment. Experiencing the beauty of the silence, And what I'm knowing is that we are in the midst of the all-knowing intelligence, the divine source of all of life, that which sustains everything and continues to create everything with beauty and order and peace, that which moves in and clears away anything that might obstruct its greatest expression through each and every one of us. And I know that as we are fully connected to that energy, that presence, that we are free from any separation whatsoever. And I know that as we know that together this morning, that Reverend Francis's message and all of the music and everything else touches each and every one of us in exactly the way that we need it to today. And that as we leave here today, we are filled up, we are energized, our souls are alive and well and beautiful. And as I speak these words, I speak them with that unwavering confidence, knowing that as these words are spoken, that they are automatically returned completely fulfilled. And for that, I am deeply grateful, and I release these words into the action of the law. And from here, let's just move right into our meditation this morning. So keeping your feet flat on the earth, knowing that there is a presence that moves from you into the earth and circles back through, creating that beautiful circle of life, and that you are fully a part of it. And let's continue breathing into the quiet for just a few moments. And it's in this place of quiet that we know that our soul is dancing, doing that beautiful cosmic dance with Source, with God, with Divine, with all-knowing intelligence. And this morning I'd like to invite you to notice what's calling you forth. What's calling you forth right here and right now? What is wanting to emerge? What is wanting to express itself through you and as you? And I invite you to let it come. Just surrender to it. Notice what it feels like. Notice what it looks like. And as we know this for ourselves this morning, let's know this for our community, for our world, knowing that each of us has a role to play. Each of us is a sacred piece of the cosmic puzzle. And as we recognize and surrender to that, we express everything that wants to come through us as us. And we become agents of healing and change. And so, as we allow that which wants to express through us and as us, it is our nature to join in community and to take this walk together with all of humanity, with all of life, and move to a higher vibration, a a vibration that moves us out of condition and ego and into freedom. Freedom. Notice how that feels. And give yourself the gift of that freedom this morning. Say yes to it. And say yes to being a beautiful divine expression as a gift to the world and as a gift to yourself. So as we allow this to pour in, we breathe into it together, allowing the vibration of everything that is to fill us up. And as we breathe deeply, we awaken ourselves to the present moment here in this room. We are alive, we are well, we are grounded, and we open our eyes. And we see everything through these eyes of freedom. And so it is.
Good morning. This is a song by not Rafe Perlman, no. Faith Rivera. I got love, I got peace, I got joy, flowing like a river. I got love, I got peace, I got joy, flowing like a river. One heart, one mind, one love, flowing like a river. I got hope, I've got strength, I've got faith to move every mountain. I've got hope, I've got strength, I've got faith to move every mountain. One heart, one mind, one love, flowing like a river. Terry. I got you, I got me, I got us coming together. I got me, I got you, I got us coming together. One heart, one mind, one love, flowing like a river. We're coming together. Sing it with coming together, coming together. We're coming together. We're coming together. Yeah. One heart, one mind, one love, coming together. One more time. We're coming together. We're coming together. Coming together, yeah. We're coming together. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. One heart, one mind, one love. One heart, one mind, one love, coming together. Yeah, we're coming together. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, you should have gotten this in the mail. How many of you got it? Oh, yay. Okay. Something's working. The post office. This is good. All right. So this program is a prosperity program, 40 Days to Your Abundance, and it starts on Tuesday. And if you didn't get one of these, let me know after the service and I'll give you one, because it's an opportunity to journal and practice absorbing these prosperity affirmations that we're recommending you say daily 20 times. So anyway, this is our program, and then by December 5th, we hope you'll fill out a committed giving card to support Center for Spiritual Living-Tacoma in 2022. So that's that announcement. We're also continuing with CSL Spiritual Living Circles. They meet this week, right? Is that right? And at, what is the new time? At 9:30 to 11. So, and this is your facilitator, Doug Taylor. And they've had one meeting, but that doesn't matter. I think you can still join. Is that right? So I am also having a book signing of my book, Forming the Future is a Journey, and that's going to be Saturday, November 6th. It's a brunch from 11 to 1. And then Sonia Vargas, Reverend Sonia Vargas, is doing a workshop on Sunday, November 7th from 1 to 6. You can register online. Bring your lunch, and then we'll provide snacks in mid-afternoon. But she's using Mark Nepo's book, Find Your Inner Courage, and she's bringing a 4-piece ukulele group with her. And they've been rehearsing for about 3 weeks now for this workshop. So it's going to be very wonderful. And I hope you'll sign up online to take it. But it's about stories of ordinary people, political activists, artists, spiritual teachers from all traditions is part of the book. But there's going to be some grief work around COVID as well, just a process or two. And I think you'll enjoy the singing together. This ukulele group is really wonderful, and so is Sonia. Sonia does she goes deep in her workshops. As to the night at the round table, we're very grateful for the sponsorships we've received so far. I'm looking for 15 in all, and we'll have tickets available next Sunday. Yes.
So if we want to mail a check for the sponsorship, where do we mail that check?
To CSL, 206 North J Street, Tacoma, Washington, 98403. Okay. Yeah, so I want to tell you what unique, wonderful things have happened on that. First of all, we discovered that Stephan is a sword collector, and she has the perfect King Arthur's sword that her partner is bringing a little later this morning. And then we were introduced by a congregant to a man who has done set design for the Vancouver Opera professionally for 10 years. And he is doing our sets, and you wouldn't believe his creativity. I took him over to see the theater at the Elks Club, and he just came up with all kinds of wonderful ideas. So he's building castles and drawbridges and you name it, and he's going to design this prop, which is Excalibur, which is a sword that comes out of a stone. So we're really excited by what's happening here, and the cast, at least the knights in the choir, and anyone who'd like to come are showing up Monday at 6:30, Terry? 6:30 is their first rehearsal. So anyway, that's tomorrow. So anyway, we're excited. And we'll have tickets for sale next week. So is that it? No, there's one more thing. Dia de los Muertos is a community event I've been involved in since 2004. And we've kind of revived it. It's been difficult to do any community events, as you know, because of COVID, and I love community events. They bring out the best in people, and just so we decided to revive this, but do it safely. So we're having a processional, an outdoor processional at 5:30 on the Friday, the 29th of October, and people have been making skeletons in art classes for this event. And that'll be about a 40-minute parade, and they come back to a tent at Pine and 6th Avenue, and kind of open air. It'll be a lot of ventilation in the tent. And Anjali Silva is doing the first set from 3:15 to 5:15 with her quarteto, which is a really wonderful musical group. And then we will have dead bread or pan de muerto and hot chocolate that's been donated by Angel. His name is Angel. He is an angel. He gave us a really substantial discount on the hot chocolate. And then at 8 o'clock, Tony Orozco and his Flor de Luna Latin rock band will play for 2 hours. This is a free event, so we invite you to take advantage of it. And everybody has jumped in the picture. John Zitko, who owns 3 restaurants on 6th Avenue, donated a big parking lot to us for the tent. We've had so many gifts by different people in the 6th Avenue Business District, which is right down the street from us. So we're excited to be helping rebuild community right now. And so these are in the foyer if you want to take one. And it starts at 3, goes till 10, and it tells you where to go. And there's lots of wonderful restaurants you can eat at, too, in the district. So we've been members of that district for many, many years, trying to connect ourselves to various business districts in the area. So Hilltop is to the south, over to the west is Stadium, and to the east is 6th Avenue Business District. And I've been involved in all 3 of those districts just to support having stable communities around us. So, all right, those are the announcements. I think I haven't forgotten anything. I probably talked. Oh, your class! That's the most important announcement. Come on up and talk about it. Thank you, Matt.
Yes. Okay, we just finished a round of Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. And I'm going to be starting another one October 1st, or actually November 1st. It should finish up by the 29th, if I'm correct on the dates, Monday evenings. We're going to start at 6:30 or 6. We'll decide what everybody wants to do. Anyway, those of you who are watching this morning and those of you in the room who haven't taken it, I would really encourage you to sign up on our website, csltacoma.org. It's Monday nights for 5 weeks, $99, and you begin to learn the basics of our philosophy. We touch on several important areas of life, and I'll suggest a lot of books. We'll have some wonderful discussions and do meditations and whatnot. So by the end of the class, you'll have hopefully a good idea about what we teach here and all of the richness from all of the different religions of the world and the traditions and everything that come together to create this beautiful philosophy. So I would encourage you to sign up. It'll draw you further into this philosophy and welcome you into our community that much more. Thanks.
Oh, thank you, Matthew. Great. So now we have come together. As you can imagine, the theme for today is together.
Yes, I do collect swords. When I was little, I have no idea how this happened, but I'm sure it had to do with TV. But I was convinced that I was Zorro from the age of 4 or 5, and I went around putting Z's on everything with a stick, and my mother was just like, oh, where'd this child come from? But, and then eventually it led to collecting swords. So.
up slowly. He got juju eyeball. He won holy roller. He got hair down to his knees. Got to be a joker. He just do what it please. Shoot. 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 He wear no shoe shine. He got Dojan football. He got monkey finger. He shoot Coca-Cola. He said, I know you, you know me. One thing I can tell you is you've got to be free. Come together right now over me. Shoot. Shoot. He back production. He got Morris Gumbo. He got Arnold Sideboard. He won Spinal Cracker. He got feet down below his knees. Hold him in his arms. Yeah, you can feel his disease. Come together right now over me. All right, Terry, come together, Terry. He roller coaster, he got early warning, he got muddy water, he won mojo filter, he say 1 and 1 and 1 is 3. Got to be good looking 'cause he's so hard to see. Come together right now over me. Come together, yeah. Oh, come together, yeah. Come together, yeah. Come together, yeah. Come together, yeah.
Thank you.
Ah. So our whole theme for this month is going further together. And today's message is we, me, going farther together. Ubuntu is a term in the Zulu language and philosophy that means I am because we are. And that's so true when you think about it. We're not just isolated beings. In community, we embody a gestalt of consciousness, a whole that's greater than the mere sum of its parts. And each individual is uplifted because of the support of the group. We base this message on the timeless wisdom of what we believe. That was Ernest Holmes' attempt to describe his philosophy. His board at the time, when he first founded this philosophy, said, "Can't you tell us what we believe?" So he went home and wrote what we believed. And one of the pieces of that is, we believe in the incarnation of spirit in everyone, and that all people are incarnations of the one spirit. We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. So one of the deep longings of human beings is the desire to belong, to be included, loved, accepted, and acknowledged. And most of us want to make a difference in the world. And these two aspects of our existence are fulfilled through our experience and our participation in community. Margaret Wheatley, who's known as being a leader in chaotic times, said, "One of the things I've learned in the poorest places around the earth is that when people have each other, that's enough. We think we need all this stuff, resources, training, degrees, and yet people know that they can only get through difficult times when they do it together." And she wrote that in a book that is Finding Our Way, Leadership, and for an Uncertain Time. So we don't get through difficult times with strategic plans. We get through because we have trusting relationships and we know how to work together. Gathering in community helps us generate meaning in our life. But there's some recent science that backs all of this up. Dr. Fiona Kerr from Australia says humans are unique creatures. We're pulsing, dynamic aliveness, innately equipped with extraordinary capacities of insight, imagination, relationship, and community. And our capacity for connectedness and our ability to make meaning set us apart, and they are essential aspects of our human experiences. So the quality of our relationships to ourselves, to each other, and to places where we live will shape our sense of identity and belonging, and they're ultimately what determines the health of societies. Fiona Kerr writes, "Turning left instead of right, walking more slowly, noticing the details, sitting still, giving time, daydreaming, looking up, being here together." Human beings are really designed to be together, and they're designed to synchronize mentally, physically, and emotionally as soon as they are within range of each other. And that's the neurophysiological sonar of human interaction. We are human radar. We spark when we're face to face. Our brains are built to pick up information about each other with direct eye gaze and with lightning speed. And when we interact face to face, we read nonverbal cues. When we meet face to face, different parts of our brain light up, and that can't be replicated on Zoom. When we connect, we light up each other's brains. So it's really light in here. It's so light, it's blinding. So the last time you stood in line waiting for a Starbucks coffee, what did you do? Did you stare off in the distance, lost in thought, or did you chat to somebody that was standing next to you, or did you look down at your cell phone and make a call? So two of these choices are fantastic for your brain and body, and they can significantly impact the rest of your day. So I bet you've guessed that looking down at your cell phone is the bad one, right? So why is looking down at your cell phone not doing the same as looking at someone else? Well, it actually stimulates a different part of the brain and actively blocks abstraction. And our brains are amazing. They use abstraction and come up with ideas, and so you actually don't want to block your ability to do that. John Donne wrote centuries ago, "No man is an island entire of itself." And it touched that deep truth that we all understand intuitively. We are hardwired to connect. And when we sit in cafes, churches, theaters, buses, trains, we resonate in a shared space and synchronize together. And that releases all these drugs that are good drugs, like dopamine, oxytocin, and other chemicals that will create contentment and happiness. Ernest Holmes said, "We exist in limitless opportunities which are seeking expression through us." And another way of saying that is, together we thrive. It's about looking around and seeing. And most of us who pass homeless encampments, as I did coming in to the church today don't pay much attention to them except to judge their impact on the neighborhood or to count the numbers. Artist and construction contractor Gregory Clune traveled through West Oakland and became fascinated with the homes that homeless people constructed. He admired the builder's ingenuity and the uniqueness of each structure. And he began photographing the homes, resulting in his book, Homeless Architecture. Then he was inspired to create dozens of tiny houses from dumped materials, all for less than $100 a piece. And these structures were raised on wheels and protected people from the wind and the rain, and they had locks for security. And each house was different. The window of one home actually was a discard from a front-loading washing machine. And so instead of looking at the lifestyles of the homeless with disgust, Clune saw them through the lens of creativity and possibility. And he plucked a new outcome from that ever-present limited quantum wave of possibility with amazing results. What a contrast to our city's Stability Site Center, where $267,000 is spent each month on a homeless encampment that only serves 100 people. We've got to start looking at more of the infinite possibilities for resolving this problem without this serious expenditure of funds. So we are also wired for oneness. In 1938, Italians praised the cycling champ Gino Bartali for winning the Tour de France Cup, but they had no idea that every mile he cycled exposed him to the threat of death. Hidden in his bike's handlebars and frame were forged identity documents bound for Italian Jews to aid in their escape during the German occupation of World War II. When Germans stopped him for questioning, he asked them not to touch this bike because it was adjusted to his precise training settings. Had he been caught, Bartali and his family would have been executed. So he evaded detection during thousands of kilometers that he cycled, and only after his death did the world learn of his secret. We are truly wired for oneness, and Gino Bartali risked his life for complete strangers. So degrees of separation, you've all heard that term. Is the world getting more connected or more fragmented? Facebook, in conjunction with the University of Milan, recently announced that there were only 4.74 degrees of separation among its 700 million users, representing 10% of the world's population. So that contrasts with the 6 degrees of separation that Yale researcher Stanley Milgram found back in the 1960s. Social media, we're to believe, are bringing people closer together. Of course, I have 360 friends on Facebook, and sometimes I allow strangers in, but now I have to rethink it because I'm getting messages at 2 o'clock in the morning from guys in New York saying, "Hi, sweetie." So somebody has to help me learn how to unfriend. I don't know how to do it. But then my son has 982. So despite the ballyhoo from Facebook, I doubt that computers are building the kind of relationships that count. A study published in the American Sociological Review in 2004 said that a quarter of all Americans say they have no one they can talk about important matters. And that number more than doubled from a similar study done 20 years before. Imagine not having a single person or confidant to talk to, and that confirms the thesis of Robert Putnam, who wrote the book Bowling Alone, that we're becoming more socially isolated even as the world gets more wired. In fact, the phrase online community may be an oxymoron, like Amtrak schedule or airline food. This past summer, researchers at the University of Wisconsin put teenage girls in stressful situations like solving mental arithmetic problems. And then they measured the girls' levels of cortisol, which is a biomarker for stress, and oxytocin, a hormone associated with feelings of happiness, well-being, and trust. And during the test, they were permitted to either text their mothers or call them directly. And so it turned out that the phone conversation and the soothing tone of the mother's voice lowered stress levels in the girls, and texting had no such effect. So the study confirms my own prejudices. Call me a retro, but I still prefer chatting with a real person on the phone rather than interacting with a voicemail robot. The world has gained efficiency, but maybe lost a dimension that's warm and comforting. It appears we need an actual human presence, the shelter of each other to feel whole. And there's one role that religious institutions play in our culture, as well as bowling leagues. And of course, merely attending a church or a mosque or a synagogue doesn't mean you feel known and accepted. You still have to do the work of building caring bonds. But how much violence in American culture is due to the fact that we've become a nation of strangers? How much incivility in our politics can be traced to a breakdown of respectful person-to-person communication? And the good news is the cure is readily available. We can begin to rewrite the fabric of community collaboration. So perhaps the best way to bring our world closer together and to lower this sense of separation is the old-fashioned way, through charity and compassion, by practicing patience and tolerance and goodwill and turning strangers into friends. There's a company called Construct Lab that builds togetherness into their architectural projects by gathering architects, designers, builders, social scientists, curators, graphic designers, photographers, gardeners, and cooks together with the idea of creating sites that will create a sense of place. And the company was founded by an architect, Alexander Romer, in the early 2000s. And the buildings they've created are amazing structures. So there are other models of togetherness that we find in nature. You can learn a lot about togetherness from ants. And in Proverbs 6:6-9, it says, "Go to the ant, thou sluggard." Go to the ant. And have you ever heard of a myrmecologist? A myrmecologist. It's not a person that studies murmuring. It's the study of ants. And I don't know about giving one's whole life to study these little things, but I do know it's useful to consider their ways. And when we look at them, we find out that they are amazing creatures. There's a lot of wisdom to be gained from watching them. There are over 10,000 different species of ants, and they're able to lift 20 times their own body weight. That means if I had their strength, I could lift 4,000 pounds. And ants have been found to build structures 500 times their own height. The brain of one ant has 250,000 brain cells, whereas a human brain has 10,000 million brain cells. However, ants probably use more of their cells than we do. What do you think? They also have 2 stomachs, one for storing food to share with others and one for themselves. So that's really nice of them to be so thoughtful. The life expectancy of an ant is 45 to 60 days, yet they accomplish a lot in their lifespan. During a flood, African fire ants join together so tightly they can make a living raft and float on the floodwaters. Togetherness is the way they survive. So ants teach us about performance and efficiency. If you look at an anthill, you won't see many ants just sitting around or standing and doing nothing. Everyone has a job and they know exactly what to do. and they work in harmony. And one of the reasons they get so much done is because of the harmony. So an evolutionist said on their own, each ant's behavior is relatively useless, but when they come together, the patterns optimize and allow them to accomplish tasks far beyond their reach. So to the outside observer, their self-organizing efforts seem to be directed by a larger force or collective intelligence. Theirs is a society that is more than the sum of their parts. Now, did you catch the phrase larger force? We call that larger force God. And God created the ant, and they do fulfill their purpose. So me or we? That's a question each of us faces and answers. Do we live as insulated, isolated individuals, or together as people connected and interdependent with others? And me could be a group, a church, a business. And we is also a choice made by churches, political parties, corporations, and nations. It's a question Solomon faced when God came to him in a dream and said, "Ask what I should give to you." And, well, that sounds like a great deal, like you're going to get anything you want. So it came with a dilemma, and Solomon's answer will carry profound consequences. The answer to the question will determine the quality of our relationships. And the choice between me and we exists in marriages. It's part of discrimination and prejudice. So if you look for conflict, the chances are you'll see that a me life with exclusion of the we life. So I'm not suggesting that a we attitude cures every conflict. It doesn't, because it's a little more complex. But it does offer new options. So what did Solomon ask for? He said he wanted an understanding mind to govern and care for his people. And he wanted the ability to discern between good and evil. And he recognized that a me attitude could not sustain the kingdom. He called himself a little child, one that doesn't know how to go out or come in. So that shift looks like this. A me life is one of power, domination, and control. A we life is one of vulnerability, intimacy, and self-giving. A me life clings to the past. A we life embodies what might be. A me life draws lines that divide. A we life draws circles that encompass. So that's not where the story ends. A little while later in the story, it says Solomon woke up and he realized it had been a dream. But just because something is a dream doesn't mean it's not real. And it doesn't mean Solomon's waking was the end of the dream. He did wake to the new possibility for himself and for the people. And that reality and possibility would be realized every time Solomon chose we over me. So the shift from we to me isn't easy. It means we have to let go of some past patterns. The shift from me to we happens within us before it ever happens outside. So alone we can go faster, but truly together we can go a whole lot further. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Francis. Let's give Reverend Francis another hand. It's kind of interesting because I love the way that everything flows together in this magical, mystical way. Serendipity. You know, this song that I'm going to sing is, I actually wrote this about one of my brothers that I totally adored growing up. And he died young, and I got to spend the rest of his life with him. But he was a very adventurous person. And I was a little kid. He was like 11 years older than me. But he was in the kitchen eating chocolate cake. And so I was like, I want some chocolate cake. And so we were eating chocolate cake, and I noticed there was these ants coming out of it. And because it hadn't been covered during the night. And I said, Dennis, there's ants coming out of this cake. And he said, haven't you ever heard of chocolate-covered ants? They're a delicacy. And so I was like, okay, and we just were eating the chocolate-covered cake ants, and until my mother came in. And my mother came in, and she was just like, she turned white. And then we didn't see the cake anymore after that. But I think it's interesting, Reverend Francis is talking about the ants and how we are one with the ants. I am one with the ants now. We are here together. We are here together. We are here together. We are here together. I believe we are all as one. Exotic life streaming up toward the sun. There will never be a separation very long. The veil is gone. We are home, we are home, we are home. And we all live forever. We all live forever. We all live forever. We all live forever. When my brother died, I felt like I had died too. But I kept the words he said to love each of you. Now my heart knows no bounds, and the more the years pass, the more I understand. He's in my heart. He's right here in my hands. And we are one together. We are one together. And we are here together. We are here together.
So it's time for our offering, and we like to say the blessing that's in the program. So together we say, divine love through me blesses. Where are you? Let's say this together, okay? Ready? Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, and so it is. Oh, it's nice to hear voices out there. Now to give us our healing prayer is Mona Williams, our lead practitioner.
What a wonderful day. What a beautiful day, this day that God has made. Knowing that there is the one life, and that is God's life, and that is my life, and that is the life of each person that is within the sound of my voice. I know that today a healing has taken place in our hearts, in our souls, as we work together, as we hear the message of being together and seeing how much we can get done working together. The love, the joy, the peace, the calmness, knowing that this is all God working in, as, and through each and every individual. I say thank you, God. Thank you for this day. Thank you for togetherness. Thank you for family and friends. Thank you for the musicians, Reverend Francis and CSL Tacoma. Thank you for all of this and so much more. And so now I release my word into the full activity of love and law, knowing that what I've declared is already done. And I anchor this by saying, and so it is.
Thank you, Mona, and thank you, Benny. Every time you play, I always take a journey, and I'm going down a path. And today, it was with me and my brother, and I was a little kid, and we would often walk through the woods. And I was so rambunctious, and he was much calmer. But we were running through the woods, and all of a sudden he stopped, and he said, "Do you see the color red?" And, I'm looking, and I'm looking, and I'm looking, and I'm looking. And finally, I see one speck of red in the far distance, just this little red flower way in the distance. And he said, search for the things to see that, to see that thing that you are finding. It was so beautiful. And he had a ministry, and I was very thankful to have him for all those years, for my wonderful childhood. But thank you, Benny, because I got to see my brother again through you. Let's give Benny some love. He's a truly wonderful musician. Thank you, Terry. And this is from my friend Melissa Felipe, and I got to sing this with her at Asilomar years ago. Wonderful person, and her wonderful song. There is only one of us. In your eyes, it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one. Sing that with us. There is only one of us. In your eyes, it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one. One more time, let's sing it. There is only one of us. In your eyes, it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one. You are my reflection. There is only one.
Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next week. God bless you.